Spurge here, and in this video we're going to break down the all-new AGV Tourmodular Helmet. So this is going to be an all-new helmet in AGV's line, and really this is going to sit just a step below AGV's Sport Modular. Remember, the Sport Modular is their sport bike, all the bells and whistles, super lightweight modular helmet. This is going to be a step down from that. This is coming in around the $660 price point, where the Sport Modular is well north of $800. And really what you're going to see is a lot of the DNA of the Sport Modular, but not nearly as aggressive and sporty, definitely more a little bit touring focused. And at that $660 price point for this, it is sitting right in the perfect sweet spot for premium modular in the US market. And I think a lot of what you're going to see here as we walk through this is going to be going after key players like Schuberth and Shoei in the modular segment, and they're not worried about going after the crazy sport audience that the Sport Modular is already capturing. And honestly, when we're talking about this helmet, it is still carrying a lot of that DNA through. So let's walk through that right now. Keep in mind, when we're talking about a modular helmet, we are talking about a helmet that can be used in the 3/4 position as it stands. One of the things to note here is that one of the changes that were made was that there is a locking mechanism over on the right side. You can lock this in the upright position at this point in time. Historically speaking, one of the key points that we pointed out for a lot of modular helmets is that they weren't designed to be done in the 3/4 position. The chin bar was to be opened simply if you were at a stop and you wanted to grab a quick drink or something at the gas station or talk to a buddy, but you can now lock that in the upright position. Really wouldn't go cruising down the highway like that, but just for slower around town rides, you can do that. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a modular helmet. Now this helmet has a shell that is constructed of a carbon fiber aramid fiberglass shell. 3 shell sizes with this. The big note here is, if you're familiar with AGV in the past, they've changed their sizing nomenclature around. So extra small through medium is the first shell size, large gets its own shell size, and extra large to 2XL gets a shell size. The only thing odd there is that typically we see medium and large get lumped together, even within AGV's other helmets. So it's interesting that with this one, they went extra small up to medium for the smaller shell size. Just a note. DOT ECE 2206 rated. There are 3 intake vents down at the chin and another intake vent up top. So 4 intake vents, 2 passive exhaust vents that you'll see out back on the spoiler. 3 pounds, 12 ounces in a medium. So even though this isn't the Sport Modular ultra lightweight one, from a modular standpoint, this is still one of the lightest modular helmets that we're seeing on the market. And in addition to that, AGV has put a lot of design testing into this. So they're claiming a 0 weight equivalent at 80 miles an hour. So when you're cruising down the highway, the helmet should feel like you're wearing nothing at all. It should not feel like you've got 3 pounds, 12 ounces sitting on your noodle up top. So just keep that in mind. So it's not just the weight savings, but the aerodynamic testing that went into this should give you a claimed 0 weight at 80 miles an hour while you're rolling down the highway. Now, from an internal fit standpoint, keep in mind internal fit is different than size. If you're not sure what we're talking about, check out our how to size and buy a motorcycle helmet video. Intermediate oval, a little bit longer front to back, a little bit narrower down the side of the head, should work perfectly for the majority of the American market. Things that are included in the box: you're going to have a Pinlock ready face shield as well as a Pinlock insert, drop down sun visor, which is actuated behind the comm system mount here. So this will accept the new AGV inside comm system made by Cardo. If you're looking for the features on that, it is very similar to what you can expect with a Cardo Pack Talk. And you can kind of read more about that, or you can watch our Cardo Pack Talk video. But a lot of the same similars is just designed to fit inside the helmet right here and to be not interfering with that drop down sun visor actuation. And then there's also going to be a mount in the back for where the rest of the system clips into place if you so use it. Now, talking about the face shield on this, one of the things to note is that it is that same design face shield that we're seeing on some of the premium helmets from AGV. Part of the reason that they're able to cut down on the weight is all of the miniaturized mechanisms in here. This is something when we saw it came out, we really liked it, and it carries through now even to this design as well. So to put it back on, you just gotta pull that little mount back down and it pops right back in. Very easy to use, very small, very sleek, just a very sophisticated system in general. When it's locked in, there's a button up the front. You can push the button and leave it just in that city position, just pushes a little bit of airflow through, or you can use it in the top. If I had to pick a nitpick, the detents don't really work too well to hold this in anything other than just a small city crack at the bottom or all the way in the up position. The internal fit on this is a question we get a lot. Should work completely fine. We were trying it with sunglasses, so if you're a glasses wearer, you really shouldn't have any issue with getting your glasses into the cheek pads. We talked about venting at the beginning, but essentially you have a vent at the front, the very front, that just kind of flips down with a push, and then you've got actuated vents which goes side to side. So 3 vents to the front, vents to the chin, as well as up into the face shield, and then 1 large vent at the top. Sleek overall style. Again, not quite as aggressive and as sporty as what we've seen with something like the Sport Modular, but still carrying through a lot of that sport DNA that we are familiar with AGV. All that being said, let's take a look at the inside. So, modular helmet, you got a button up front, pulls down, doesn't push up, pulls down, and that's what unlocks the chin bar. That moves in the open position. We'll say that one of the things that we've seen from AGV is a lot of ratchet straps, not double D-rings. This is something that's divisive. I personally would prefer a double D-ring, not a ratchet strap. I feel like the ratchet strap does feel a bit bulky on my chin, but it is arguably easy to use. If you just want to pop it in, it locks into place and you can open it up. From a safety standpoint, it's ECE 2206 rated. I know some people out there on the internet get kind of crazy about ratchet straps coming undone. It is safety rated, and personally, despite the fact that I don't necessarily like the way they feel, I have never had a ratchet strap fail on any of my helmets. Now, interesting here with the interior liner, you've got snaps to remove the cheek pads, and then once you pull the straps through, it's actually on this unique rail system that kind of just allows them to slide out. So you undo the snaps, as you can kind of see right here. There's 4 snaps on the inside, not 3, so keep that in mind. That's a little bit different from some other manufacturers. You feed the straps through, and then you're going to see here, there's a little yellow tab, and you can kind of see it on this side actually. There's a little yellow rail system. So once the snaps are undone, you simply grab this and pull it towards you. One of the things I'll say is that I think it's overcomplicated for the sake of being overcomplicated. When it works fine, but if it starts to jam up on you, it does feel a bit complicated in a way that it doesn't need to be. But the flip side of this is you don't have to worry about trying to shove down, you know, an extended flap on a cheek pad. So it is definitely a new system. Maybe some refinement over the years will make that a bit smoother, but you know, it's all in, you know, being the first to market and innovate. But you can see there, it just takes a bit to kind of grab it and yank it and pull it out. Once it comes out, it should be okay. I would probably, if I was going to own this helmet, put a little bit of bead of silicone lube right on there. You can get that at any kind of auto parts store, and that will probably help with the actuation a little bit. Taking a look at the inside, we will go ahead and remove the interior as well. You're going to have brow mounts to this, and they snap in place pretty securely for a brow mount system. And you have 2 snaps at the back, no pressure points at the forehead, very comfortably oriented liner on this. And then just taking a look at the inside, you can see those channeled cutouts for the ventilation. And they're wide, there's plenty of holes that you can see where the ventilation is not just coming through, but also exhaust vents to those passive vents out back. You have the channel, or the speaker pocket cutouts. And what I like about this too, is that they're deeper. So a lot of the speakers that we're seeing with the Cardo systems now are a wider speaker for a better fidelity experience when you're riding down the highway. And the cutouts for the speakers on this are super deep, so you shouldn't feel any pressure points on your forehead. So the too long didn't read is that AGV has come to market with another modular helmet that is still extremely lightweight, more affordable than the Sport Modular, carries over a lot of that same DNA, and is introducing some new concepts like the rail system that you're going to see here for the cheek pads. My only real nitpick and minor complaint here is that the rail system takes a little bit to get used to if you're not used to doing it. And other than that, I am very impressed with what AGV is doing in the modular helmet, especially when you compare this to some of the brands outside of AGV's line and what their modular helmets, excuse me, are bringing to the market. So if you're looking for something a bit on the sportier side, if you're looking for something on the lighter side, maybe you really are more of a sport touring rider, I think whether you're looking at the Tour modular helmet or you're looking at the Sport modular helmet, it's really exciting to see what AGV is doing in the world of modulars. There's More information, if you want it, you can click the info button on your desktop or mobile device. You can read other rider reviews. You can get into all the nitty-gritty details on the product page for this particular helmet. Or if you're not quite sure which modular helmet is right for you, your riding style, and your budget, you can also reach out to one of our customer service reps, and they can walk you through all the different helmets available to make sure that you find the right one to match with your riding style as well as your budget. I want to thank you for joining us for this look at the AGV Tourmodular Helmet. I'm Spurge. Enjoy the ride.